Carl, you've been involved with the space program for the last 30 years in a very major way. What do you think are the greatest benefits that have accrued from our expenditures and our exploration of space?
There's a huge number of them. One is satellite communications. I mean, this conversation is being broadcast all over the world. We have looked close up at dozens of new worlds that we never saw before. And unless we're so stupid as to destroy ourselves, there are going to be people exploring those worlds. There are going to be human habitations on those worlds. We're going to be moving out into space in the next century. And I'm fortunate enough to have played a role in the first preliminary reconnaissance of the solar system. That's a terrifically exciting thing. The space program has paid for itself many times over, and none of this, of course, has to do with putting people up into space. There may be good reasons for doing that, historical reasons, social reasons, reasons for building bridges with other countries. I'm, for example, a strong advocate for a long-term joint U.S.-Soviet program to put Americans and Russians on Mars. I think that would be wonderful for joining the two countries together in a grand common endeavor on behalf of the human species, benign, high technology, reaching out to the next century. And there are many other still unrealized practical applications of the space program. We've not given it nearly the attention it deserves, and especially in the last 10 or 15 years, the United States has been awful. Since 1978, the U.S., which pioneered the exploration of the solar system, has not launched one spacecraft to the moon or planets. In more than a decade, we have not launched one. We hope that there will be shortly, later this year, the end of that drought. But we have let the space program languish in the last 10 or 15 years, as we have let all sorts of social programs languish, as we have permitted the amount of poverty in children to increase. Before the end of this century, more than half the kids in America may be below the poverty line. What kind of a future do we build for the country if we raise all these kids as disadvantaged, as unable to cope with the society, as resentful for the injustice served up to them? This is stupid.
And then what happened with the resources is they went into increasing budgets for arms. Isn't that where the money went?
That and making rich people richer. The solution to these kinds of problems has to be that everybody on Earth works together. The industrialized nations have the biggest responsibility because they're the biggest polluters. The United States puts more CO2 in the atmosphere than any other nation. So there has to be a new way of looking at the future, and that is that we're all humans, members of the same species, on one fragile little planet. We're all in this together, and we have to work together. That's kind of the silver lining of these crises. They are forcing us to become a planetary species.